Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Mid-Atlantic Mulling League Spike Magazine Trophy. We're in week number 4 tonight. We've got 2 games for you tonight. Not quite a doubleheader, but they'll be relatively back-to-back. We're going to get started with a really fun one tonight, and it's going to be the Gastonburg Cavaliers versus the NC Snakes, Eagle TSI versus Moob, OWA versus the Dark Elves. I need to fix that OWA graphic. I hate it. All right, let's take a look at the standings before we take a look at the 2 teams up this evening. Tark79, welcome to the stream. In first place in Division A, that's where we are for Game 1 tonight, is the MAML Nightmare, coached by Festoon. They're a Necro team. They are undefeated with a record of 2-1-0. They are followed by James Like Snacks and the World of Cheese. You'd think that's a Skaven team. It's not. It's a Pro Elf team. They're 2-1-1 in second place. And in third place is Chime's Conspicuous Disunion, a Necro team. They are 2-0-0. Over in Division B, we have in first place, wouldn't you believe it, it's the Believe Broncos, coached by BB Nutt, the current Chaos Cup champions. They're a Nurgle team. They are 2-0-0. They are followed by none other than the Pip Stars, coached by Dead Fred. They're a Lizardman team. They're 2-0-1, and they are followed by 1 touchdown in third place by the Vesuvian Lavabacks. Their Berserker Tempest Lizard team, also 2-0-1. And finally, in Division C, heading up the pack is the Fishy Fiends, coached by Ajax. They're a Chaos Renegades team. They're 2-1-0. With Old Gamer Mike in second place, the Goodest Boys strike back. They're up tonight. They're a Necro team. They're 2-1-0, and they are followed by Philosopher's Song Spire's Lizardman team. They're 2-0-0. The home team this evening will be the Gastonburg Cavaliers. This is the OWA team, the Old World Alliance. They have 12 on the roster. They will not be starting with their frenzy player, the Dwarf Troll Slayer, so they'll have 11 to start tonight. That brings their TV at 950,000 gold. They have a thrower. They have a catcher. They have a couple of blitzers. They have a treeman. They have a dwarf blocker and a bunch of linemen. And don't forget Daredevil, the number 12 halfling hopeful, 1 apothecary, 1 dedicated fan, 2 rerolls. They're going to be up against the Dark Elves of the NC Snakes tonight. They have 11 on the roster as well. That brings their TV to 1,400,000 gold. That's 450,000 gold in petty cash going to the Cavaliers this evening. 2 Witch Elves on this roster, all 4 blitzers, and a bunch of linemen. 1 Oppo, 7 dedicated fans, 3 rerolls. How are these 2 teams going to play tonight? We'll talk about the Dark Elf team quickly. The Dark Elf, because we've got a lot to say about the OWA team. Dark Elf team, pretty speedy here with a number of players with an MA of 7. I am dying. What is happening right now? Oh my goodness. All right, MA 7 on 6 of these 11 players has 4 blitzers on the roster. They all have block. They've all picked up dodge as well. 1's a guardsman, 1 is sidestep. Blodge with sidestep, fantastic combination. The 2 witch elves, very, very good. These dark elves, unlike other elves, they have high AV. Their AV is at a 9+ rather than an 8+, except for the witch elves here that have an 8+. But they have dodge, frenzy, jump up. 1 has block, 1 has wrestle and tackle. These witch elves can surf players if you're not careful. Does have a dirty player on core in here, number 11 as well. This is a team that on offense, they're just going to use their speed and their great agility, 2+ across the board, to just move that, run that ball forward, open up a hole, get behind the opponent, and then run into the end zone. It's going to be hard to stop them. On defense, they're looking to, against this team tonight, I think they're looking to apply some pressure to stop their run. They're not really up against a passing team, despite the fact that they have a passer. We'll talk about that in just a minute. I don't think they have to worry about the pass too much. Famous last words, but too much. And what they're going to do is they're just going to stay in front, try to force that offense to one side or the other. Then they'll encircle. Then they're going to try to punch that ball loose and score again, or at least stop the score. They're going to be up against OWA, which I think is an incredibly difficult team to coach. OWA, you can see, I guess baseline, you could consider this like a human base, right? Like this is a team that has humans and dwarves and a couple of other things, right? They have their choice of big guys. They can pick up an ogre like a human team can, or they can pick up a treeman. You can see that Eagle TSI has picked up the treeman. They have the human thrower, the human catcher, they have the human lineman, they have the human halflings, right? But they also have some dwarves. 400+ K difference. Yeah, it's 450,000 gold. We'll talk about what he'll do with that in just a few minutes as well. So this is more like a human team that's been punched up a bit in terms of strength, right? So they have these dwarves that have strength. Well, maybe not strength. In terms of bashiness, right? Like they have these dwarves strength 3. They have block. They have thick skulls. They're very resilient. They have a high armor value. They have the treatment here on the roster, strength 6 with mighty blow. That's fantastic. The big problem for a team like the mediocre greatness, welcome to the stream, says more money. I suspect so. But the big problem with a team like this, look at all of these nega traits. They are very unreliable. So the humans hate the dwarves and the halflings. The halflings hate the dwarves and the humans. So they all have animosity in that regard, which means if you need to get this ball between these players, you've got to roll that d6 first. And if it's a 1, you're not going to be able to do so. It can be devastating if you have to do it on a particular turn and it won't work out due to animosity. And not just animosity, but look at all the loner on this roster as well. The dwarves have loner, the treeman has loner. That's difficult. Now it's only a 3+ on the loner, except for the treeman here. That's a 4+, but it's still loner. So if you need to take a reroll, you might not, on a 1 or a 2, you're not going to get it. So very unreliable team, and that means this team absolutely has to rely on fundamentals of the game. The Cavaliers tonight, in order for them to win this game, what they need to do is they need to have impeccable action order. They need to basically mitigate risk as much as possible because there's just so much risk on the roster. They need to be taking those 3 die or 2 die blocks. They want to take the 2 die blocks with the block skill if at all possible. They're not going to have their frenzy player to help them with positioning. So they're going to need to set up their players in such a way that keeps them safe and keeps their opponent under pressure. Watch out for number 7 here, this dwarf blocker with armbar. Armbar is like mighty blow for dodging. So if your opponent tries to dodge away from you, armbar says, all right, well, if they fail that, it's a +1 to their armor or their injury roll, whichever one you need it for. Also has brawler on this dwarf blocker as well. With just the 2 rerolls, it's going to be so difficult for this team to really keep pace, which means the only hope they have, I think, are mediocre greatness with the sub. Thank you very, very much. That's very kind of you. Wow. I genuinely appreciate it. Thanks, man. Wow. For 6 months too. Thank you so much. Where was? Thank you. It's very kind. Anyway. Oh, thank you very much. But yeah, so it's going to be very difficult for them to stay reliable. That means their action order has to be impeccable, especially with low rerolls. Now, there's 2 ways they can mitigate that. Mitigate these problems, this inherent unreliability. It's with a way to get distracted, right? See, welcome to the stream. It's either, or it's not just either, it's going to be both, but it's going to be action order has to be impeccable and then a lot of money in inducements. So for 450,000 gold, this is a squirrel. This is a team that, like I said, it's a little more bashy than a human team, right? So they've got Morg. They can lean into that, right? With Morg with a strength of 6, he has block, mighty blow +2, not +1, but +2. Decently fast with an MA6, high AV, and could even be a ball carrier. Clypheus with the sub, thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Welcome to the stream. I know it's been a long time. Thank you very, very much, Clypheus. That's very kind of you. So Morg, obviously a great pick. If he picks up Morg, I think he picks up Morg and Cindy. If he could also not pick up Morg, he could pick up Cindy. He could pick up Griff, which is a great piece in and of himself. Not quite as bashy, and so not nearly as good in that. That's right, not nearly as good in that regard. But if he picks up Griff and Cindy, he could also pick up a wizard as well. So that could be a way to pick up a wizard with the 2-star players. Oh, Tarek with the sub. Thank you so much for the gift sub. I appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. 450k. So yeah, he could drop Morg and pick up Griff if he wants the wizard. But then Griff is a great piece, don't get me wrong, but I don't really think it leans into the strategy of an OWA team. I think he's probably going to pick up Morg and Cindy. Morg for 380k, that'd leave him with 70k left over. He could pick up Cindy Pie Whistle. He's going to go with Ivar Eriksson instead. Down to 205 now. Can't pick up Morg or Griff with that amount of money. James like Snack says, that's like the budget for a whole other half team. So I do think OWA wants to be on the lower side of inducements just so they can supplement their risky roster. So they're going to go with Ivar Eriksson. They picked up a bribe, it looks like, and was it a keg I saw? All right, here's the coin toss. Looks like clear skies for game number 1 this evening. Cavaliers are going to win the coin toss. We'll see if they'll be on offense or defense to begin. Cavaliers choose to be on offense to start. They want to have the momentum right out of the gate. Our second game tonight is scheduled for 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. That's 2 hours from now. I have a meeting at 8:30, from 8:30 to 9. And that's going to be Necro versus Orcs. That'll be a fun one. This game will probably end before that. We'll see when this ends, and we'll decide what we want to do at that point. We might cut the stream and then restart at 8:40, so an hour, 40 minutes from now. Or we might just let it rock. I haven't decided yet. So giving up the wide zones for the most part by this defense. They've shifted their defensive line to the right, 3 on the line, and now the Cavaliers have set up their offense. So the Cavaliers, once again, they've picked up the one-star player. They've also picked up 1 bribe and 2 kegs. So their KO rerolls are going to be a 2+ instead of a 4+, and they have a bribe available. Clifey says, oh man, is it Tuesday? I got up at 2 a.m. to drive for 12 hours, so I'm not really aware of much anymore today. Sorry to hear that. I had a very productive day today. How many ones will they roll in KOs? If you pick up 2 cakes, you're going to roll at least 2 ones. It's just how it works. 4 on the line for the offense. They've got that big tree guy. Tree guy? Tree man. Tree bro? Number 6 tree man on the left side of the line here. Strength of 6. Tarek, thank you very, very much for the bits. I appreciate it. Thank you kindly. C says, or every KO roll will be a 4+. You won't need it. Here's the kick. Deep kick. Brilliant coaching. It's going to go to the Cavaliers. Wow, what a kick by the defense. They parked it right in the back right corner here on the 24-yard line. And now turn 1 for the Cavaliers. They picked up an extra reroll. I think they really needed that. They're up to 3 for the half. Clivey says, I safely drove halfway across the country, so I'll call that productive for me too. That is productive. That sounds miserable. Cavaliers get starting to move the number 2 catcher, Bad Penny, over in the right wide zone to get onto the ball. 2-die block. Oh, these dice are pretty. 2-die block on the right defensive end. Gets a knockdown here. It's going to get a knockdown again on rat number 3. Broke armor. Gets a stun. And now a 3-die with the treeman. Gets a push. BB Nut, welcome to the stream. Good to have you. Whose coach is that? Oh, that's Eagle TSI's coach. And now the blitz, 2-die blitz on Taipon number 2. Gets a pow out of this. There's the removal. First removal of the evening. 1-man player advantage for the Cavaliers. Tarek with the gift sub. Thank you very, very much. Very, very kind. Thank you very much. Why is Ivar on the bench? I guess he's there. He's there for the defense. Doesn't want Ivar eating up all that SPP. So Ivar here is strength 4. He has tackle, guard, and block. MA6, of course, being a star player, is a loner. Boy, oh boy. Foul on turn 1. Doesn't work out. Has to spend that bribe immediately to keep the halfling on the pitch. Daredevil on the foul. Gets a stun out of it. Gets called by the ref. Good pickup finally here by the Cavaliers as they dip into the bonus clock. Have the ball on their own 22-yard line now. And now turn 1 for the Snakes. As he said, maybe he thought he could raiding party himself onto the pitch. Tark says, well, the bribe kept the fouler on the pitch. Job done. Indeed, that's the use for the bribes here in this setup. Had he picked up Cindy, that bribe could have been saved for her as a secret weapon. Although she tends to be an early target, so if she were to remain alive, could have saved it for her. Here's the dodger on the right side of the pitch. 2-die block. He's going to get the knockdown here against 3 fingers. Follows up on the blitz. Has one more space of movement. And now starting to apply some pressure on the offense. I thought for sure this would be a Morg game, or if they wanted the Wizard a Griff game, but I don't think they. I think they could afford Morg. They'd take Morg. That's what I think, especially with this team composition. Lots of pressure on the offense, so you can see the defense splitting up this offense. Right, there's a contingent. Oops, that is a terrible line. There's a contingent here. There's a contingent here. I have to be very, very careful with these drawings. Thank you very much for the hype train, folks. I appreciate it. All your generosity. It's very much appreciated. Boy, this is just... oh, it's a cavalcade of dark elves. Did I say passing wouldn't be part of the game here? Turn 2 now for the Cavaliers. So I think tactically here, having the catcher next to the thrower means that your opponent understands that your catcher is not going to be a receiver, right? So having the catcher, say, over in this wide zone, or maybe even over here, so that you could move the ball carrier, do the handoff or the pass, and then move the catcher for even more distance, effectively doubling your movement, then the defense would be a little more cautious against the catcher. But with them grouped up like this, the defense says, okay, well, you're not going to get 14 points of movement out of this. You're going to get 8. They could have taken Morgan, left him on the sideline, just to show that they could afford him. Where does the petty cash come from? Is that just like a league fund that we provide as a courtesy to teams? Do we take it out of like ticket revenue? Like, where does that come from? Franchising fees? Blitz on the left side. Gets a pal against Sidewinder, the number 2 Witch Elf. 3 fingers on the blitz. Gets the knockdown, doesn't break armor. Again, the Witch Elves only have an AV of 8+. Magically appearing money. Cavaliers desperately trying to shift to the left. Dwarves, of course, pretty slow. You can see that the blockers in MA4. The Blitzers had picked up 1 point of MA. They're in MA of 5, but that's still pretty slow. That's halfling territory. I think it comes out of Another foul coming up. Hey, look, the ref is on point. On point with these calls. Tried to argue the call. The ref said, man. No, sir. 2 fouls, 2 good calls by the ref. And now 10v10 on the pitch. Turn 2 for the Snakes. More than likely going to see dice on the ball here. 2-die block against Eyeglass gets a foul. There's a mark. Good 2+ dodge by Rattler. Here's the blitz. Witch Elf blitz. Gets a push. That's fine. Frenzy follow-up with the Witch Elf. Good positioning for the mark. Get the 2-die on the follow-up. Now gets the POW. 9+ will break armor. We'll see where the ball bounces. Right to the right side of Black Mamba number 2. I don't know if he actually wants to pick it up with the Witch Elf. He might try to score. Yeah, he's going to get some protection on the ball. Moves Black Mamba number 2 1 space back behind the ball. BBNet says, in the last collective bargaining agreement, instead of health insurance, they decided to give teams money to sign star players, but only when they were betting underdogs. That's perfect. 2+ dodge to a 2+ pickup can keep this ball safe for at least a turn. Advances to the 22-yard line. Now the defense in possession of the ball after a massive advance on the offense. Lots of tackle zones between the ball and the offense at this point. Good couple of dodges by Sidewinder, the number 2 Witch Elf. And another one for good measure. Griff coaching the the Cavaliers. You can see he's disappointed in his offense. Turn 3 now for the Cavaliers. So now their job is to try to force the score and get on the board before the half is over. Tarek says, well, the fans donated to give their team at least a fighting chance to see even more blood on the pitch. I don't believe it's donations. If it were donations, it would not be this reliable, right? There'd be some games where there's no money in the kitty, right? You're not going to be able to get your inducements. One minute, 10 seconds to go here in turn 3 for the Cavaliers. They were on offense. They have to pivot to defense. Again, very difficult team to coach, in my opinion. Because they're so unreliable, if your action order is just not on point, and not just action order, right? But if your action order is not on point, you'll collapse pretty quickly. You'll have to start taking risks you don't want to take out of order. But also, you have to do all the other things you have to do in a game of Blood Bowl, right? You've got to control a certain amount of the pitch. You got to take reliable blocks. You've got to keep your player count up. You've got to score touchdowns. So it's really hard, in my opinion, to coach OWA. Two-die block against double pals against Cottonmouth number 2. Looking for a 9+ to get rid of this blitzer. 4 blitzers on a Dark Elf team. Very important pieces. BBNet says OpWA, they aren't unreliable. They're basically the best team in the game. All right. Okay. Good removal here on the foul. Come on, ref. Are you kidding me? Oh, okay, good. Boy, nobody can foul in this game. I think the coaches need to realize we've got the best of the best out there tonight. Turn 3 now for the Snakes. No, he did. You're right. You're right. Tried to argue the call, rolled a 1. And now Eagle TSI has been sent off along with the player. So they'll no longer be able to argue the call. And they're going to get a -1 to the brilliant coaching result for the rest of the game. Now a blitz on turn 3 by the Snakes. They get a push against 3 fingers. And so now this Dark Elf team is looking to set up their blocks and try to get player advantage. It's 2v2, or not 2v2, 9v9 right now on the pitch. They're going to keep the ball safe. They're going to try to stall this out for a while. And in the meantime, try to set up some blocks here. Probably not going to go after the Dwarves too much. They're so resilient with that high armor value and thick skull. They'll go after players they can remove. Sets up a cage for one of the Witch Elves, keeping her safe. Sidewinder is going to move forward with Wrestle, which is a little more resilient. BB says, I still think there should be a house rule that if a coach gets sent off, someone else plays your team for the rest of the game. Turn 4 for the Cavaliers. Just let the AI take over. I mean, that's just a loss at that point. 2-die blitz against Moccasin number 2, the level 2 lineman. Gets a knockdown here. No armor break. I love those dice. Those dice are gorgeous. So the treatment here has throw teammate, by the way, so keep that in mind as well. There is a throw teammate opportunity provided that, well, not anymore, provided the halfling was on the roster, but the halfling's been sent off. So the Cavaliers trying to force the score. They've been left behind by this agile team that has more speed. And so now they've got to spend a couple turns to apply this pressure. Taking a couple of marks here, just 1v1. That means they're going to eat 2 dice, coming back as the block, not as the blitz. Final turn of the first quarter coming up for the Snakes. Snakes holding on to 2 rerolls so far here. Oh no, the Snakes don't have a cheerleader, do they? Oh, boo. Boo. They've got the right cheerleaders, they just haven't hired any. Shifting the ball to the left, continuing to stall out the clock. They're on the opposing 22. Fails a dodge here. Works out on the free reroll. Now the blitz. 2-die blitz against the Norskin Wolf. Gets a knockdown thanks to the block skill. No armor break. No movement left for the blitzer. Another failed dodge by a Witch Elf, but we'll get a free reroll out of this. And that works out. Witch Elf with that edge of 2. That dodge is only going to fail 1 in 36 times. As I say that another dodge fails. It's only going to fail 1 in 36 times. That sounded like the dodge failure sound. Rat number 3, the rookie, wearing number 8 over in the right wide zone. Now another failed dodge, this time a 3+. Finally fails that dodge. You roll enough die rolls, even if they were all 2+, you're going to fail one. So the Snakes reset their defense turned offense. They've got lots and lots of tackle zones between the ball carrier and the rest of the offense. Minute 20 left on the clock for the Cavaliers here. Desperately trying to get this ball forced into the end zone so they can get an opportunity to score themselves. Problem with the Treeman. The Treeman's great with that strength of 6, but really only works if the drive's going to stay at midfield, right? Because the Treeman's very, very slow and may very well root. Now, I'm of the opinion that the drive often stays at midfield and therefore is a pretty good big guy. But with something like this up against these elves who snake the ball away from you and now you need to pull everybody back in a hurry, that Treeman is just too slow to get in the drive. Team re-roll after double skulls. Trying to knock down Black Mamba number 2. Only gets a push after the re-roll. Look at him. Did you see him? Did you see this guy? He's like exacerbated. Trying to dodge out players. That'll be a turnover. Did I catch that? Look at the catcher. Look at the catcher off to the left. Watch him. Look at him. He's just like, oh man. What am I doing here? That turned 5 for the Snakes. Snakes continue to stall this out. They're down the left wide zone with the ball carrier. Cavaliers have to focus on the blocking game. I don't know if they're really going to be able to get this ball in 3 turns, or get this ball in the end zone in 3 turns. So I think they just need to regroup, take a blitz, count their blessings, reset for next half. Got a lot of work done. I didn't tell one of my business partners. I've been biting my tongue. It's like whenever you have good news, you want to tell everybody. I've been waiting for the meeting. It's gonna be a grand surprise. 3+ dodge fails by Coral Reef. I swear that's the second Coral Reef on this team. Turn 6 now for the Cavaliers. I think these uprights, first of all, why are there uprights on a Blood Bowl field? I guess kicks. But they should go transparent when, or translucent when there's a player behind them. 2-die blitz against Moccasin number 2. Gets a push. It's going to spend the final reroll here into the exact same die roll. Gets a push out of this. It's so weird. Like, the ring's on top of the upright, but the ring's not on top of the player. So the ring's on top of the upright until it gets to the player, which is behind the upright, and then the ring goes behind the player. So weird. Tizzle Bizzle, demanding death. Welcome to the stream. Good to see you. 48 seconds to go in turn 6 for the Cavaliers. Yes, indeed, they're regrouping here. Just going to take some blocks. Not going to take any unnecessary risks to get at the ball. Very surprising they picked up Ivan and didn't field them, but they'll have them for the second drive of this game. Zeke says 100% successful UI choices from Cyanide. Old Gamer Mike says sadly kicks are so rare there. Yeah. I would love, just from I don't know, more making it more like football, I guess. I don't know. I would love kicks to be implemented in some capacity. I don't know what that would look like, and I don't want them to ruin a game that's pretty great, you know. But I would love to see what that might look like. Spire says, is your catcher having an existential crisis? We here at Philosopher's Song can help. Why did Automod not like the letter F? Automod, that's just English. It's the alphabet. You can't be mad at the letter F. My God. Here's the blitz, double pals for the Dark Elves. Looking for a 9+, they got it. They got it, and that's another removal. Very well done. They're going to hope that sticks for the next drive. Being on defense, that next drive can very well be the second half, so there won't be the double roll, so to speak, on the KO roll. When you're the offense, let's say you stall till turn 8 on the offense, your opponent still has one more turn. So let's say your opponent has a knockout player, they'll roll that 4+ on turn 8, and then whether or not something happens on turn 8, they're going to roll the 4+ again on turn 9 if that KO failed. Not so when you're the defense. You're going to have the last turn, so there's only going to be one roll for the KO, provided the snakes score on turn 8. I like that I've added that term now as a permitted term. Turn 7 now for the Cavaliers. 3 die blitz by the tree. Got the pal here. 8+ with Mighty Blow. Looking for some removals. Doesn't get it. Does have some dope dice, though. I love those dice. I have to read the rules to a game called Red Dust Rebellion. I'm very excited for it. It's a counterinsurgency game in space. Turn 7 now for the Snakes. Trying to lock down Coral Reef for a turn. Here's the blitz. 2 die blitz on Grass Eater. Gets the POW. That's going to free up Coral Reef to have a 2+ dodge away. I love that animation. Blitzer just comes in and says, excuse me. All right, I'm going to go back to work now. Well done. Dodging players free just to avoid the blocks. We'll hold this team to a blitz for the final turn. Turn 8 for the Cavaliers. Cavaliers looking to take their final block of the half. It looks like it's going to be against Moccasin number 2. Has 4 assists right now. It's going to take it with very long legs. Here's the 3 die block. Good setup. Got the POW. Looking for this 8+ desperately. Got the armor break. Gets a KO. We'll see if the KO sticks. Well done. So that's the blitz. I think they'll be done here. Taking a mark on number 8. Nothing's going to come of this. I can't imagine that the NC State's going to move number 8 for any reason. But still taking the marks, just going through the motions so as not to forget them when it does matter. Turn 8 for the Snakes. Snakes with 2 rerolls left. They're going to take a block before scoring. So the Cavaliers have some hope here. If they pray hard enough to nuffle, then double skulls will come out of this. Four assists, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the 3-die blitz on the thrower. Here we go. 3-die blitz with the block skill. Nothing but pushes. Re-roll that. No! No, you went in! You have to re-roll it! Give us the hope of triple skulls. There's the score. NC State take the lead in this ball game 1-0. They're going to be on offense to start the second half as well. We'll see where these knockout rolls end up. One comes back for the Cavaliers. Oh, I think they only had the one. Is that true? Did none come back for the Snakes? One comes back. No, none come back. All right. So no KOs came back for the Snakes. They did roll a 1. I'm sorry. I mean, you called it. you called it. You said right up front that that's what was gonna happen. So, to be clear here, the number 3 blitzer here. Normally that KO rolls a 4+. The Cavaliers picked up 2 kegs. That brings it to each keg increases your odds by 1 face of the die. So 2 kegs makes it a 2+ to succeed. But he rolled a 1. So no KOs come back. So it's going to be 9v8 on the pitch now. Oddly enough. Success. So did any inducements he took actually serve a purpose yet? I mean, the halfling stayed on the pitch for 1 turn longer, but then just got immediately called off the next turn. So, no. 9v 6, 7, 8. So 1-man player advantage for the Cavaliers. Ivar's still there, but he didn't play in the first half. All right. So the Cavaliers with an opportunity here. So they've the 2 KOs for the Elf team did not come back. Cavaliers have a player advantage. Shallow kick to fight for the ball. Turn 10 now. I have to think that was deliberate. They're going to try to get in on the ball here. They've got to keep a little bit of a secondary behind them. This team does have speed. Not I was going to say terrible speed. Not great speed, but they have a lot of players with MA7. And the OWA team doesn't. They've got... where did they go? Oh, they're dead. I was like, where'd the blitzer go? Oh. So they have the catcher with an MA of 8, so they're going to need to keep a couple of people back in the secondary. But otherwise, they can start fighting for this ball. So now the NC Stakes starting to swoop in this direction, and they're going to try to control this area of the pitch. Good push here on the blitz, but really wanted a knockdown because there's about to be some dwarves and humans getting up in the business of these elves. Good 2+ pickup by Snake Plissken, but now on the sideline. Unlike a Renegades team, the OWA doesn't have access to elves. Not able to sneakily dodge somebody in on this ball carrier. A minefield of tackle zones between the ball carrier and the defense. Turn 10 for the Cavaliers. Lost a turn due to the timeout. This will be a 7-turn half. Old Gamer Mike says, so it's 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus dodge. Easy. Just roll 6s. If the halfling was still here, I would launch the artillery halfling shell right into the face of Snake Plissken. Or not even. Maybe up here somewhere. Minute 10 to go here in turn 10 for the Cavaliers. Back up 2 rerolls. Is that actually lore? The elf said, "No, we don't want to play with those." No, no, they just don't. They don't have access to them. Ivar does have the tackle skill, so he can negate dodge on these elves, but currently not in position to do so. He's in the middle linebacker position at the moment. Mark's being taken on these elves, but these elves are strength 3, so these are going to be 2-die blocks almost certainly coming back on these players, with the exception of the catcher here. The catcher only has a strength of 2, so it's a 2-die block already. Unless the blitz is coming in on the corner. Trying to force the elves to dodge, but without putting tackle zones. If you take a mark on the elves like this, so you take these marks here, right? Without putting tackle zones, well, here's one now, but without putting tackle zones between the elves and where they want to go, what all this really does is they're like, oh, 2+, see ya, right? Oh, 2+, see you later. That's true. Tarek says, but it's interesting how Old World Alliance and Renegades, Chaos Renegades that is, are so different in playstyle while the idea of being multi-race teams is similar. Yeah, that's very true. Failed the rush. You always fail the rush. And this is a loner as well. So this is a 4+ loner. So if the reroll is going to be spent, I can't imagine it will. Oh, he does spend it. Does spend the reroll. Got through the loner roll. And only gets a dodge push out of it. Oh. So Loner says if you want to spend a team reroll, you spend it first. You roll a d6 on a Loner 4+. You have to roll a 4+ in order to actually use it. Otherwise, you lose it. Spent the reroll. Cavaliers down to 1 reroll for the game. The Snakes, now on turn 11, have the ball on their own 2-yard line after the shallow kick. Surprising. Double skulls. Here we go. Spends the reroll. Saved by the wrestle. Snakes down a reroll. They're now down to 2 rerolls for the game. Took a both down result with the wrestle skill. That means both players go down. There's no armor break, and it's not a turnover. And now the ball's going to just gracefully glide to the left. The ball's now on the Snakes' 10-yard line at center field. One minute to go for the Snakes. They had a very commanding first half on defense. The ball wasn't real secure by the OWA offense. They put a lot of players up on the line. The ball was kicked deeply with only a couple players back to protect it, and the offense spread pretty thin on the line. The Elves were able to take a block and then funnel a ton of Elves toward that ball. Were able to recover it pretty early and secure it for the entire duration of the half. And now they're on offense in the lead. And it's so tough to stop an Elf team from scoring. And this OWA team needs needs a vision or needs Nuffles aid. It's going to be real tough getting this ball back. I am very surprised that Ivar is staying off of these elves and not chucking dice. That's another player you have with the block skill. Tackle will negate dodge. Turn 11 back to the Cavaliers. Tark says Loner is one reason why Pro is so useful on a big guy. Old Gamer Mike says I'm a big fan of Pro on big guys as well. Did I say Loner? I meant Pro is so useful on a big guy. But sure, yeah. Trying to mark out Coral Reef here at the line of scrimmage. We talked about this before, but taking the marks orthogonally like this means that there is nowhere this player can go that is not a negative dodge. So -1 modifier applied to that elf. Pal against Korn, looking for an 8+. Got the armor break, and it is now a 2-man player advantage for the Cavaliers. Elves starting to fall slowly. But the Cavaliers still have to be on their guard. They have to stay in front of this ball. They can't let these elves try to get by them. But now the elves don't have a lot of players, so it's going to be difficult to encircle the defense. You'll often see a Dark Elf team, they'll leverage their agility and their decent speed. They'll come around, maybe take a mark here, take a mark on a player that's over here, set up the ball, and now nobody can get around them to cover the ball. Then on the next drive, the ball's down here. There's an elf here. There's an elf here. There's an elf here. And now you've got marks over here, and he's pushing you out, right? Now they're down enough people where they can't reliably make that work. The Cavaliers still very much in this game. Take a mark on very long legs. I'm not sure I agree. But sure. You know what? Maybe you do have very long legs. Ball's going to cross the line of scrimmage over in the opposing 2-yard line in the left wide zone now. And so they're going to try a very similar thing here on the left side. They're going to set up some protection on the right of the ball carrier. There it is. Long for a dwarf. So now the Cavaliers behind 1 point of movement against an MA7 player. They do have the catcher with an MA of 8 still ahead of the ball. But they'll either need to... Oh, good dodges over on the right side. They'll either need to make a big play diving into this cage, or they're going to need to reset up their defense in some capacity that can stop this run, but it's going to be real difficult, especially with these two Witch Elves with Frenzy. Frenzy's not just good for guaranteeing you're getting block dice, but it is good for breaking your opponent's formation. 2 pushes with Frenzy, you push a piece out of position 2 spaces, and now there's a gap. Right now there's a hole you can run through. Turn 12 for the Cavaliers, final turn of the 3rd quarter. Cavaliers got to make something happen here, or at least they'll probably, if they don't roll some dice and get in on this ball, they're going to have to do some rushing, I think. Scary stuff. They're going to mark Sidewinder, the number 2 Witch Elf, at midfield. Still not threatening the ball. And there's a mark on the back left corner of the pocket. Now Raiding Party tapped. So Raiding Party here, you can see once per drive, you choose a teammate within 5 squares, and they get to move. Tackle zones don't matter. They've got to end up marking someone. Didn't use it, it looks like. Here's the blitz on the front right corner of the of this blocking contingent. Gets a dodge push, or I'm sorry, gets the knockdown here due to tackle, breaks armor. Huge armor break. Got the KO as well. Very well done. Finally, Ivar Eriksson gets into this game and is marking the ball carrier. Negates the assist from Black Mamba number 2. Another removal for a 3-man player advantage for the Cavaliers. Now they're starting to lead into their bashiness a little bit, and it's starting to pay off. But with so few players on the pitch for both teams, they've got to be a little bit mindful of positioning and tackle zones. Turn 13 for the Snakes. Cavaliers haven't lost too many players, but unlike this Elven team, I think each player loss for the Cavaliers hurts them more than each player loss for the Dark Elf team. Although the Dark Elves have now lost a good chunk of players. 2-die blitz on the catcher. Got the pal here, looking for an 8+. There's the armor break. Right in the gut. Gets a stun. Old Gamer Mike says Black Mamba 1 plays for me now. I love not regen. The Necromancer, or whatever it's called now. That's one of my favorite things in Blood Bowl. Frees up the ball carrier to move down pitch to the 18-yard line? 18-yard line, just off the left sideline. So, the Snakes, not a lot of players, but you can see what move has done. We talked about how they'll set up that wall of blockers typically, and now they don't have a lot of players, so it's difficult for them to do that. That's fine. Noob says, you know what I'm going to do? I'll move the ball carrier down, and then I'll just shift this line of blockers. They're gonna run. Oh, he actually came from here, but they're gonna run with me. I don't need to keep him safe for a turn. I can keep him safe every turn. Turn 13 for the Cavaliers now. They are running out of time, and they've run out of players. Like, it's going to be very, very, very tough to stop this at this point. Cavaliers need to start making a strategic decision. Are they going to try to tie this game, or are they just going to try to pick up some SPP here and give up the ghost? Ivar blitz. 2-die blitz on Sidewinder gets a push out of this. Decides to follow up. Keeps the Witch Elf marked. And now they're going to mark Coral Reef here. These marks are fine if you want your opponent to roll some dice. They still have the 2 rerolls though, and a free reroll with the and a free reroll with the dodge players. Good foul. This time it works out. Got the injury. Oh, that's just ruthless. Way back across the line of scrimmage. He said, none of your friends are around. No one can save you now. Turn 14 for the Snakes. Snakes can score at any time the ball carrier is free. They're going to blitz with the ball carrier. And this is going to be how they keep this ball safe for a couple of turns. They get the POW against Ivar. No armor break. They'll reposition the ball. They might even score. Score, try to get back some of these KOs, and maybe even do it again. There it is. Yep, 2-0 the score. The Snakes increase their lead. Very well done by Moob and the Snakes. The Snakes have only lost one game this season, and that was the Chaos Cup final. They got back odds on the kickoff on the knockout rolls. They're going to get back 2 players. Now they're fielding 7. Algiver Mike says the score, I think, locks away the win. Indeed, it well, it doesn't have to, but it has. Yes, I think it's going to be very, very difficult to come back from this. I think it's still 10, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I keep forgetting to do this at halftime. I'm going to remember for the next game. Seeks asks, how'd the kegs go? All the kegs worked out. All the kegs worked out. Of which there was one, but it worked out. So 10v7 on the pitch, 3-man player advantage. Whoa. Three-man player advantage for the Cavaliers. No, you will not remember. You're right. I probably won't, but I'm gonna try. Should I eat something before my meeting? I think I'll just have watermelon again. Man, I love watermelon. Here's the kick. Deep kick. Deep kick. We'll see if that's a touchback or not. So roll a 2 on the D3 for 5 open players to move. It's going to move one player back toward the ball. That's the thrower. But if this is a touchback, he'll have lost a space. But it's only a 3 and 5 if it's a touchback. Yep. Bounces to the left, stays in the end zone. So good repositioning here with the thrower. Turn 14 for the Cavaliers. They got some blocks to take. On the line, rolls double skulls on the dwarf, who has loner, as we talked about in the pregame. And that is a lost team reroll and a null turn. Turn 15 for the Snakes. Started off with a blitz by the dwarf. Rolled double skulls. Couldn't get through the 3+ loner. And that's the end of the turn. Blitz to get things started on the left side of the line. Got the pal here on the left end. Old Gamer Mike says, why does the dwarf have loner? That's Old World Alliance. So the positionals, the dwarves have loner. It's 3+ loner instead of 4+. Failed dodge here. I don't know if he'll let this. He will let this rock. Gets a stun, so he only has one player threatening the ball. With one turn to go. Turn 15 now for the Cavaliers. It is a sidestep blodger. So Copperhead, the number 4 blitzer. Only a pal's going to knock down this player unless you go after them with Ivar. Ivar with the tackle skill will negate the dodge skill. And if you don't knock down that player, they're going to sidestep almost certainly toward the ball. 3-die block here by the Treeman. Gets a pal. Looking for the 8+. Got it. His hand went right into the ground. He just grabbed a fistful of dirt. Setting up the block on Copperhead. Is he taking the block with the thrower? 2-die block has a free reroll with Brawler. That'll work out into a dodge push. At least it keeps the drive alive. So the dwarf blocker is going to follow up. Does have that armbar skill. So if Korn tries to dodge away and fails, there'll be a +1 to the armor or the injury roll. 37 seconds to go here in turn 15 for the Cavaliers. Rough game up against a very good coach. And again, I think this is a hard team to... I think OWA is a hard team to coach. 3-die blitz against Copperhead. Well done. But needed the POW. Oh no, he got the knockdown. He took it with Ivar. That's good. So he's going to get the knockdown here. No armor break, though. That's unfortunate. See if he pulls number 8 back to try to cover Copperhead. That's exactly what he's going to do. I think that's a good call. Even if they can't win this game, they want to minimize the number of touchdowns they give up because touchdowns count for standing. Good recovery by the thrower off the end zone. And now turn 16 for the Snakes. Can they pull off a third touchdown? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2. They're going to keep players safe. First order of business. Well done. Oh, here it comes. Got the POW! Needs this ball to not bounce backwards. Breaks armor. It bounced right into his hands. 2 rushes will do it. Rushes into the end zone, fail 1,000% of the time. 2-0 is going to be the final here as we go to the final turn of the game. Oh, Gamer Mike, thank you very much for the bits. Going for the GG foul with Ivar, it looks like. Cease lowers the rush failure rate from 900% to 99%. Here's the foul with 4 assists. Gets Gets nothing. Gets nothing appreciable out of it, and Ivar gets sent off. You know this ref was on his game tonight. 2-0 is the final. Very well done. That was a lot of fun. OWA, I look forward to seeing more of their play. Again, I think it's a tough team to coach, and up against a fantastic coach in Moob as well. But the NC Snakes continue their streak here. They're 3-0-0 here in week number 4. They at the top of the leaderboard here in Division A. Again, the NC Snakes have lost just 1 game all season long, and that was the Chaos Cup Finals against BB Nut. All right, I think we're going to cut the stream off here, and we'll pick it back up in 40 minutes for game number 2. So let's take a look at the schedule before we leave, and then we'll see you back here in 40 minutes for game number 2 this evening. All right, coming up next, again, in just about an hour, a little under an hour. The stream will start 20 minutes before game time, so it will start 39 minutes from now. We are going to have the Goodest Boys Strike Back versus the Gutterballs, Old Gamer Mike versus El Nubarino, Necro versus Orcs. And then this Thursday, June 3rd at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, that's UTC -4. Hey, that's me. How's it going, El Nubarino? 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time this Thursday, that's UTC -4. We have the Department of Redundancy versus the Remnants of Valor, a human mirror match, followed by a game this Saturday, July 5th at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. We have Entanglements versus Philosopher's Song. I could never remember what Entanglements. Imps. Imperial. I say the name out loud and I remember they're imps. That's Conkill versus Spire. Imperial Nobility versus Lizards. And then on Sunday, July 6th at 9:30 p.m., we have the Vesuvian Lavabacks versus the Pipstars. Berserker Tempest versus Dead Fred. That's a Lizard mirror match. And then we have one fight. It'll probably be the last game of the week. Next Tuesday, July 8th at 9 o'clock p.m., we have the Fishy Fiends versus the Birds of a Feather. It's Ajax versus Galeshi. That's going to be Chaos Renegades versus Pro Elves, Elven Union. So 3 more games left to be scheduled this week. And when those games get scheduled, you'll be able to check out and get alerted to those schedules on our website at maml.club. That's maml.club here on Twitch or on our social media pages on Blue Sky X and Facebook. You can also watch previous games on our YouTube channel. Play Blood Bowl, man. This game is so much fun. Where else can you kick a goblin in the face? You can play Blood Bowl via Blood Bowl 3 on, I guess you can do that in 40K. Where else can you kick a goblin in the face with a football helmet on? Maybe not said to move win, yes indeed. You can play Blood Bowl via Blood Bowl 3 on Steam, the Epic Game Store, PlayStation, Xbox, and a tabletop format at your friendly local game store. Until what? 37 minutes from now? Take care, everybody. Get something to eat. Get something to drink. We'll see you back here in 37 minutes for game number 2 this evening. Take care.